I get the read on this from Rebecca Walser Wealth Management, sort of crunches the numbers and sort of handicaps where we go from here. Obviously, that many people returning to their offices. They're going to be very different offices. They're going to be very different folks in those offices. And I'm wondering on the productivity level, even with the new rules, capacity, all of that, whether you'll see a boom in activity and the kind of turnaround that the president wants to see. What do you think?
I would love to see that, Neil. I'm not expecting it right now because I think that we're really sort of focused on this spike in new cases, and I think that could be put into perspective a lot better than it is being. So right now, I don't expect this big boom to come back to New York City. I think people will be really reticent. And, we're talking about the restaurants with the piece that Christine just did. It's where the liquor sales make the money. So it's the bars that people go out to happy hour after where the restaurants will start to pick up their profitability margins. And so we'll have to see if people go back and feel open to actually, lingering and getting some drinks with their coworkers. And maybe they'll need to drink, right, Neil?
I don't know about that. But one thing that's kind of interesting, and you and I have gotten into it before, expectations versus reality. Expectations are that you're going to see a smart recovery, certainly in the third quarter. Things will really pick up in the fourth quarter. And then, as the president was indicating this past weekend, we're really going crazy, in 2021. Do you subscribe to that sort of rollout?
Neil, obviously so much depends on what happens with the virus, but I actually am a believer. If you look at the data behind these case spikes, I look at the hospitalizations and I see those still going, and certainly the deaths going down. The United States is not, for the first time ever, the leader of deaths worldwide. So if you look at the deaths, if you look at the hospitalizations, you'll start to see that these new cases, I think, are much more of a function of broader testing, more asymptomatic people that are not going to lead to hospitalizations and ultimately death, we pray. So that's what I see, and because of that, I do think that the economic activity will get back to a good pace, and that will enable us to have those recoveries that we do expect will happen. So I don't know the timing exactly, but I do think that the increase in cases is just being a little bit overplayed with what's actually happening. We always have to put it into perspective, and the perspective when you do that is actually quite good.
Do you build in this acceptable spike in cases into your economic and market outlook, Rebecca? I mentioned it because, as we were saying earlier in the broadcast, 2 days in a row with 30,000 new cases in the United States, something we have not seen since the beginning of May. Now, I'm told by a lot of, top medical types, that is within that kind of the level of upticks that we would have expected with the reopenings going on. But again, that's a backdrop that is proven very stubborn. In a lot of metropolitan areas in states like Texas and Arizona and Arkansas and Oregon and Utah. And I'm wondering why the markets ignore that, or is it because we could deal with this? These numbers seem manageable.
Yeah, I think that you have a battle going on here, Neil. You really, truly do. You have two narratives. One narrative is that this is going to be the worst thing. We're going to have a second wave. We're never going to have a new normal until we have a vaccine and everybody can take it. And that is a battle that is battling another perspective, which is exactly what you just said. It is within the realm of expectation. It is manageable. Our hospitals are not overrun. And this increase in population getting back to normal is going to make more testing that we're doing show more results. But a lot of these people are not exerting the symptoms of the first round, or whatever you want to call it, the initial wave that we had with really severe symptoms. And you're talking about different, risk categories, with younger people testing now more positive than the older people where their risk factors are a lot higher. So the battle is happening in the news, and that is making investors and consumers, which as you know, are 2/3 of our economy, potentially reticent to go out and resume life as normal. So as soon as the clear winner of which way is it actually going to be emerges, then people will hopefully feel ready to go back and resume life as normal. And we need them to be spending again, Neil, and that's what's going to get the economy going back full speed at whatever pace that takes.
All right, we'll watch it closely. Rebecca, good seeing you again. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Neil.
Rebecca Walser Wealth Management. I want